Good morning, everyone. Today I've set myself a little bit of a challenge. So this is Bremster, and I am going to be attempting another river Sudoku by Xailran. I've I did actually do a test solve of this puzzle, but it has changed since I've done my test solve. It is early on a Sunday morning here, and I am drinking my coffee as I do it. It is also hay fever season here in Australia, so I have been struggling a little with hay fever. So everything coming together, a tricky puzzle, hay fever season, and early in the morning. This should be a very interesting solve for me. Um, as I said, I did do a test on this puzzle, and Zalran, who was watching me solve it, did decide to make some changes to the puzzle after he saw my test solve. So I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to find in this puzzle. It definitely looks a bit different. Um, so um, I will say once again, because I keep being told to, if you do like my videos, please like them. If you like my channel, please subscribe. I'm not going to be I'm not going to be pushing this channel to too many people, but feel free to join in. Anyway, so the way River Sudoku works. So normal Sudoku rules apply, which means that in boxes, in um, in interesting. The cursor is staying as a pointer rather than changing to a hand. In rows and in um, columns, the digits 1 to 9 must exist without repetition. Now the trick comes with River Sudoku. With River Sudoku, the way it works is the cages will indicate the total value that must go into a river that emanates from or that starts in a cell adjacent to that box. Now, I will be very, very clear here. Because of my atrocious math skills, I do use a calculator that I put together to help me with some of the more complex math. So when you see me looking off to the side, what that is me looking at my calculator screen. Um, so, or possibly getting a message. So what? But the way these cages work is they kind of act like reverse thermos. So a river is a snake path that will leave an orthogonally connected cells that will emanate from a cell adjacent to a cage of strictly decreasing digits. So the river will start wide and get narrower, and the digits in the river will sum to the total in the cage. So if I was to pick on this 16 cage, for example, and say that this was a 4 in the cage, and we were to look at the possible values for 16 in 4 digits, this may go, what are the possibles? This could go 8, 5, 2, and 1. So what we have is we have a 4-digit long river, 8, 5, 2, and 1. If we add those together, sum to 16, and this would be a valid river coming out of this cage. If we were to find out that this 33 had a river that did something like that, so it moved to this cell, this cell, this cell, this cell, and then used this 5, 2, and 1. That would be perfectly legal. I have no idea if the numbers would work, but that would be legal. Rivers may be adjacent to each other. They may double back on themselves, and they may actually share values. So it is possible for multiple rivers to share the same cells. So that's the way River Sudoku works. So what we need to do is try and use these cages to figure out what the rivers can be. Now, one important thing, and this looks like it's going to be important down here, is you can never use a caged cell in a river. So, for example, this 8 can never go this way because you can never use this in a river. And similarly here, this 12 could never go this way. This 11 could never go this way. So that's the way it works. So the summary is basically you must build a reverse thermo out of the cage. So a decreasing thermo with no repeat digits that sums to the value in the cage, and the length of the thermo is the number in the cage. I know that's a bit of a long-winded explanation, but getting an understanding of the rules is important. So now I would like to thank Xailran for allowing me to do this puzzle on the channel, and also for trusting me to test his puzzles. And now the goal is to try and solve it. So let's go. So where do we start? Well, there's only one way to make up 2, and that is with a single digit, which means we must put a 2 into one of those 3 cells. I'm not going to pencil mark that because it could go multiple ways. Now, I remember the way I've started river puzzles in the past is just to put in the values that could possibly make up the digits. So let's look at 10. You can't do 10 in 1, you can do 10 in 2, you can do 10 in 3. So you can do 10 in 2 or 3 and it can't be a 4. 28 can't be 3, it can be 4, can be 5, can be 6, can be 7. So this is 5, 6 or 7, because again it can't be a 4. 11 can be 2, 3 or 4, but can't be 5. So this is 2, 3 or 4. And this is just because a 5 length reverse thermo would only be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and that's 15. So you can't do 11 in 5 cells. 12, I think, is the same, 2, 3 or 4. 8 is only 2 or 3. Oh, and there's another 8. So that's 2 or 3, which makes this a 4. 4 is only 1 or 2, but there's a 2, 3 pair, so the 4 must be a 1. Oh, and that's interesting. There's a 4 in that row, and so the 4 literally must go up or down. I'm sorry, I think I mentioned it's hay fever season here. I've had my medication, but it hasn't helped that much. Sorry about that. 10, as we know, is 2, 3, or 4. Now, we've proven that 4 can't be here, but this couldn't have been a 4 anyway, because if this was a 4, it would have had to have been 4, 3, 2, 1. And if you put a 4 in here, you would have then had to have started the river with an adjacent 4, which would have broken the rules of Sudoku. 16 can be 2, 3, 4, or 5. So that one is very unrestricted. And 33, I think, is 5 through 7. So this is 5, 6, or 7. So those are the initial restrictions we've got. So 12 in 4, that looks quite restricted. So 12 in 4 is either 6, 3, 2, 1 or 5, 4, 2, 1. So if this was to go down, you couldn't use a 5. If you were to go down, because it can't go down either, because if you were to go 6, 3, that would make this a 2, but then you'd need to go 2, and you'd need to go here because you can't use the cage, and all of a sudden this has no value. So if you were to go this way, you'd have to go 6, 3, 2, and you've used 3 and 2, and you can't use both 3 and 2. So because you would need to use 6, 3, 2, because you can't put a 5 here, this must go up. So this river goes, actually I'm going to use green. This is going to go up. This must therefore be 5 or 6. The next value after that will be 3 or 4. If it's a 4, it's there. If it's a 3, it could be in either of them. But after that, it must go 2, 1. And because I can't share a cage, so let's say green is going to go into one of those. I'm probably going to blow this highlighting away. But if it goes here, it's going to move into those cells. And if it goes here, it's going to move into that cell. So it's going to have to move into one of those two cells. So the 2 is going to have to be in one of those two cells. Now, the 2 will have been here. But that leaves lots of options for the 1, because it could go 6, 3, 2, 1. It could go 6, 3, 2, 1. It could go 5, 4, 2, 1. So the 1 can be in any of those 3 spots. That seems like too many to mark, because it's basically all of the cells that aren't eliminated by that anyway. Okay. 8 in 3 or 2. That might have the same restriction along the bottom here. So 8 in 3 would have to have a 1 in it. Actually, can I get 8 in 3? Oh, I could go up. Yeah, this could go up. I don't think the 3 can go this way, because whichever way I go, because 8 in 3 must have a 1 in it, then it would literally, wherever I got to, I would see, I can't get to this cell, so I would see one of these two 1s. But 8 in 3 could go up. So it would be 5, making this a 6, but it would be 5, 2, 1. And then I could, in here, I could put the 6, 3, 2, 1. And that seems to work. Or yeah, that all seems to work. I wonder if I can restrict something. And so yeah, if it's 3, it goes straight up. Or that way. Because this had the possibility of being 6, 3, 2, 1. Oh, no, it couldn't go that way because 3, 2, 1 does not total 8. So it'd have to go straight up. Okay, what about here? Okay, we've got 4 here, so this can't be a 4. 8 in 2 or 3. Again, this is the same as this, but is it more restricted? So if we look at 8 in 3 here, well, it can't go down because there's not 3 cells. If we do 8 in 2, it couldn't be 7, 1. It couldn't be 6, 2 because the 2 is used in the cage. And it couldn't be 5, 3. So this has to go up, and it can't be 3. So whatever this does, this must go up. Hang on, that's going to be a huge restriction because I can't use 1, 2, 3, or 4 in that cell. And the only possibilities for 8 in... oh no, I could use 2. So this could be... so if it's 3, it's got to be 5 and then 2 and 1. If it's in, sorry, if it's 3, yeah. If it's in 2, then it's 7, 1. It's 6, 2. It's 5, 3, and it can't be 4. So I've now got a 5, 6, 7 triple along here. Which is putting pressure on this cell. Because this cell cannot be a 5, a 6, or a 7. So does that mean the 8 can't go up? Because if the 8 went up, if it was 3, I think we've already shown it would have to be... I can't make it a 4 because there's a 4 in the box. So that would mean it'd have to be 5, 2, 1. And I can't put a 5 in this cell because I've got a 5, 6, 7 triple. And if it was... And the same as this, if it was 2, it would have to be 7, 1, 6, 2, or 5, 3, and I can't put any of those there. This has to go this way or this way. And I looked at this, didn't I? So this cannot go up. Okay, so if it's 3, I think I've proven it can't be 3, because if it's 3, it must end in a 1. It can't go that way. If it goes, and there is nowhere I can reach that wouldn't see a 1. So this is now 2, making this a 3. I'll get back to that. So if this was 7, 1, that doesn't work, that doesn't work, that doesn't work. I can't do 7, 1 anywhere without seeing a 1. Now that this is 2, I'd have to get 2, the closest I can get 2 without seeing a 2, considering I can't go up, is... I can't go that way. I just can't get anywhere where I can't see a 2. So it has to be 5, 3, and I can't put a 5 there. So that has to be a 5, and one of those two has to be a 3, and there's a 3 right there. That has to be a 5, 3, and that has to be the 8 river. That's insane. I mean that in a good way. Which makes that a 2. That 5, 6, 7 is... That's really nice. Okay, so this being a 3 means this can no longer be a 7. I've now got a 5, 6 pair, making that a 7. So 8 in 3 can't contain a 6, because it'd have to be 6, 1, 1. This has to be the 5, this has to be the 6. Wow, I'm going to reward myself with some coffee. That's just great. People who say that milk is not great for hay fever are correct, but coffee is good for me. So we've now got a 7, 8, 9 triple in here. But this 12 cage in 4 is immediately interesting, because 12 in 4 that starts with a 6 has to now go 3, 2, 1. Can't put a 3, a 2, or a 1 in there, so this becomes a 3. 2 now goes into one of those two, which locks this 11 cage as a 4. That was probably there earlier, but I wasn't paying enough attention. This is not a 7, which is putting 7 down here, which has put 7 into the middle row there. I'm not going to mark that yet. That's fairly obvious. There's a 6, 8, or 9 in there. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't want to forget Sudoku. I mean, I'll mark 4 in those. because that may impact this. So 8 must go 5, 2, 1. I can't put a 2 there, so that must be a 2 and continue the river. And then 1 goes in one of those two cells, so it must go up, making that the 4. Wow, okay. That's going to resolve this 12, isn't it? Because if this is a 2, the only place because 12, we said it after 6 has to go 3, 2, 1. If this was the 2, the only place you could put the 1 is there, and we've just proven that's not the case. So this has to be the 2, not here, and now 1 has to go in one of those two, and we said it can't be there. So this river must shoot straight up the side. This is really good. Oh, okay. There were only 3 places for 2, pardon me. That's now a 2. That gives me the tiniest river in the world. What is the tiniest river in the world? It's probably something in a tiny little backwater somewhere on someone's property that they never talk about. So is it worth starting to mark things like 4s can only go up here, 1s can only go up here, 2s can only go up here, 3s can only go up here. 1 and 3 must go in there. Actually, that's a 1, 3, 4 triple. That's worth marking because we've got 1, 3, 4 there and 1, 3, 4 there. That's worth marking. Which means 5 is in there. Okay, I am going to start marking this. 6 is in there. 2 is in there. Nothing quite as powerful over here yet. Although we do have... Okay, I am going to do this. 4, 1. People can laugh at my bad marking skills, but I get the feeling this may come into effect when I'm starting to build rivers and I can eliminate digits. So that takes, actually, yeah, 2 can't be in there. So this 16 now has to be 3 or 5. I could have got that from there, of course. Okay. This 4 is done. 10 in 2. So 10 in 2. If it's 9, 1, it goes that way. Okay, fine. If it's 8, 2, can't do there, can't do there, can't... All the 2s are taken. I can't use 8, 2 because I can't put 2 anywhere in reach of that. 7, 3. The only place I can put 7 is there, but I can't put 3 in either of those boxes because of those 3. So it can't be 7, 3. 6, 4. Now 6, 4 can't go there because we know 4 is in one of those boxes. 6, 4 can't go there because we can't put 4 here. So if 6 was here, 4 would have to go there. If 6 was here, 4 can't go there because of that 4, and 4 can't go there because of that 4. So it can't be 6, 4. It can't be 7, 3. It can't be 8, 2. It must be 9, 1. And we know 9, 1 can't go that way. 9, 1 can't go that way. So that has to be a 9, and the river must go that way. 1 can't, and that's the 1 because 1 can't go up. This is crazy. That takes 9 out of those, so this becomes a 7, 8 pair, this becomes a 9. If this is a 7, 8, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 go into here. So that has to be the 4, and this must be the 6. Oh, and that will complete that river. These are now a known pair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are an 8, 9 pair, which is resolved by that 9. And we've got a whole heap of information down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, which is resolved by that 4, which gives us that as a 2. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And we don't know anything about those, although we might get some information from this 33 cage. Actually, I think this 11 cage, excuse me, might be more powerful. So this is done, 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 this is done. So the cages that aren't done are those ones. Okay, let's look at 33 in 7. 33 in 7 must start with a 9 or an 8. Now, if it starts with this 9, it would then have to go 7, which it could. It would then jump to a 6, which it could. It would then have to jump to a 5, which it couldn't. If it goes 9, 8, it could. Then jump to a 6, which it could. It would then have to jump to a 4, which it couldn't. So it cannot come down. If it goes this way, it would have to go 8, sure, 7, okay. It would then have to find a 6, which it could find there. It would then have to find a 5, 4, and then it would have to find a 2, which it can't. So if this, I'm just confirming this again because these rivers are really weird. If it starts with an 8, it's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 2, 1. 8 has to go to 7, has to go to 6. The only place it can grow is there, 5. The only place it can reach a 4 is there, and then it would need to find a 2, and it cannot get a 2 in either of the boxes it can grow to. So it can't go this way. So this river must go up. Which means this must be an 8 or a 9. And it can't be a 9. This is an 8. Which means it must be 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 2, 1. It's the only possibility for 33 and 7 starting with an 8. So this needs to find a 7. If it goes this way, it can't hit a 6. So this has to be a 7. Because there was only 2 ways it could go. It now must find a 6 in one of those 2. The 6 must jump to a 5. Now, if it was here, it would be one of those 2. If it was here, it would only be that one. So there's a 5 in one of those 2. Because this 5 is knocking out that column. And then it must reach a 4. This 5 can't get a 4 there, can't get a 4 there because of that 4 can get a 4 there. This 5 can only see that 4 because it can only reach this box and there's already a 4 in this box. So that must be yellow. However this goes, it must hit that 4. I'm wondering if this is going to force which way this goes. Or maybe this. Maybe I should be looking at this 11. 11 in 4 is 5, 3, 2, 1. That's very restricted. So I've got to find a 5 for this. I can't go up. So it's one of these. If I go this way, I now need to hit a 3, which I would hit there, because I couldn't hit a 3 there. So 5, 3. I then can't hit a 2, because I can't put a 2 there because of that one. I can't hit a 2 there because of that one. I can't put a 2 there because of that one. So this can't go this way. Can't go this way because of that 5. So this has to be the 5, which forces this river, because I've got the only 3 it can hit is the one it's already seeing, and that river is complete. So this river is now sharing those cells, and there is my 11. Taking 5 out of there. But that has not forced this. Damn. These are 6, 7, 8, and 9. There is no 9 there. So there is a 9 in there. This is a 6, 7. Oh, I knew this was a 6, 7, 8 triple. I wonder if I could have figured this out an easier way from that. 9 and 9. 9 must go up here now. Oh, there's no 2 in there. There's no 2 in there. I wonder if this will help me. So this is 1, 6, and 9. I can't put 1 in there. I can't put 1 in there. So this is a 1. Bet I am missing some Sudoku to help me. We know this jumps here. After the 4, the 33 needs to find a 2. It can't find it there. It can't find it there. It can't find it there. Well, that's going to resolve everything, isn't it? So the 4 has to jump to a 2. Not there because of that 2, not there because of that 2. So that would have to be the 2, which means that has to be the 5. So this river does that. Still don't know which one of these is the 6, though. But that 5 makes that a 3. This is now a 6, 7, 8, 9 quad here, but that means 7 must be in one of those, forcing that to be a 6, because 7 is now forced. Let me roll that back. 7, this is now 6, 7, 8, 9, because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the row. 7 is already in this box. So this is 6, 8, and 9. This is a 6, 8, 9. So this has to be a 3. This 6, 8, 9 means 7 must be there, which means I can take 7 out of there, forcing that to be a 6, take 6 out of those. So I now know this is 28 in 6. This 2 needs to hit a 1. I can't put the 1 in that box, and these are filled, so it must go up. That ends that river. I'm still not sure which of these is the 6. This puzzle is fascinating. I really like these river Sudoku. I find colouring path puzzles challenging, partly because of my eyesight, partly just, yeah, because trying to explore the options. I could see puzzles like this where the paths weren't as clear cut, would be significantly more challenging, and I think I would struggle with those. But puzzles at about this difficulty I find incredibly rewarding. Okay, 5 must be in one of those two just by Sudoku. Let's see if I can get anything more from Sudoku. Or actually, let's look at this 16 in 3. Ooh, lots of options for 16 in 3. My calculator is telling me that this is scary. Must start with 7, 8, or 9 though. So it's got to be 7 or 9. So if it went down, actually this could be useful. If it went down, it would have to be 9. And it would then need to go either 9, 6, 9, 5, 9, 4, which none of which it can do. So it can't go down, but it could, so it must go up. Let's make this river blue. Doesn't that force that to be a 5? Because we know it must go up and it must start with a 9, an 8, or a 7. So that becomes a 5. This is a 7, 8, or 9. This is a 7, 8, or 9. So can't be an 8 in either of these. Well, this is now a 6. This is a 9. Oh, wait, we knew that one of those had to be a 6. The 6 couldn't be there because that breaks this chain. That becomes the 6. That's an 8. That's a 7. That's a 9. That's an 8. This puzzle is really clever. So if it's 7, it's 7, 5, 4. So 7, 5, 4 would be possible. 7, I couldn't put a 6 next to it. So 754 is possible. 952 is possible. I don't think I can resolve this yet. Ah, this is an 8. So I can take out 8 out of those. That was the 6, 7 pointing down. Okay, this is now a known pair. 1, 2, 3, 5. This is 6, 7, and 8. I'm going to put these in because I want to find out what the options for the 10 are. So 4, 6, 7, and 9. Actually, I'm going to fill this out as well because I've got the full triple here, which will give me the triple here. This 7 is giving me the 8 and the 7. So this is actually 2, 6, and 7. And I can't put 2 in the top. So this is 5, 8, and 9. Now, these are all almost fully resolved. So this is 1, 3, and 6. Okay, so let's look at this. Actually, is this going to be more powerful? 28 in 6. What are the options? There's a lot of options. But it has to start with 9 or 8. So it must go that way, because that can't be a 9 or 8. They're not 9 or 8. So it must go that way. Yeah, let's make that, I'm thinking blue. So it must start with an 8. So I can get rid of options that don't start with an 8. So it then has to go to a 7 or a 6. Well, that means that's not a 2 because it must go up because I can't get a 7 or a 6 there, which makes that a 2, which makes that a 2. and this goes up. So that's a 7 or a 6. After the 7 or a 6, it goes to a 6 or a 5. Well, that can't be a 6 or a 5. That's a 2. Is that correct? Yeah. So if it either goes 876 or 86 or 875 or 865. So it has to go to a 6 or a 5. The only place it can get one of them is there, and it's a 6. So that's a 7, 6, and it goes that way. It takes 6 out of all of these, makes that a 7, that a 6, takes 7 out of those. The 6, and if you think me using a calculator is cheating, then I apologize. I find these puzzles hard enough. If I had to do this math in my head, this would be a 3-hour long video. For people who can do this in this head, I absolutely congratulate you. I can do more and more stuff in my head, but I am not yet capable of doing all of this in my head. So yes, I'm using a tool to help me. More and more, I try not to, but I think the logic of the puzzle is much more interesting than sitting here watching me try and figure out numbers in my head. So 876 locks this to, it now needs to go 421. Well, the only place it can get a 4 is there. So the river goes to there. The only place it can get a 2 is there. And the only place the 2 can get a 1 is there. And that finishes that river. That's a 6 because of the 7. That's not a 6. That's not a 1. This 10 looks like it might be next. So, of course, 10 is 9, 1. Well, the only 9 it can hit is there, and that can't hit a 1. 8, 2. The only 8 it can hit is there, and that can't get a 2. 7, 3 is possible. 6, 4, it can't reach a 6. So it has to be 7, 3. That has to be the way that river grows. I can't see any other way of doing it. Making that an 8, that a 5, takes 8 out of there, 5 out of there. I'm sure that 9 makes that an 8, which takes 8 out of there. Me. That 1 takes 1 out of there, so that becomes a 1. That's a 6. That's a 3. That 3 makes that a 4 and makes that a 3. Is this resolved yet? We've got a 5, 9 pair in this row. That 5 makes that a 9, that a 7, that a 9, that a 5, that a 9. I can now finish the Sudoku, and I'm sure the puzzle will say, congratulations, you're done, but I haven't yet finished the river. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. Yeah. Looks good to you, doesn't quite look good to me. I still have a 16 river to finish. So it starts with a 9. So we know that 16 in 3 starting with a 9. So I need another 7. Can't go that way because I would need to find a 0. If I go this way, I need to find a cell lower than 2 that is equal to 5. That is not a decreasing thermo. So I must go this way, and then I must find a 2. So it must go that way, and that is the final river in the puzzle. And that completes Up the Swamp by Xailran. That was really cool. I particularly liked this triple, the 5, 6, 7 triple in row 7. That and the way it constrained the bottom of the box, so the way that the 8 and the 12 clue work together, with all of the pinching down the bottom to force this triple to give you all of the pressure it needed to be able to then grow up the grid. I thought that was brilliant. Um, yeah, I think this river constraint, it hit. Can a river have legs? What do rivers have? Yeah, I can't come up with anything clever this early on a Sunday morning. Very, very cool puzzle. I, I look forward to more of these. Thank you, Xailran, and thank you to anyone who watched through this long. I hope you enjoy my videos, and I hope you continue to try the puzzles that I post on this channel. Thank you very much.